You might be surprised to hear. I was just having a conversation with somebody the other day about this. You might be surprised to hear that as a real estate agent, my most favorite part of the job is not looking at houses. Looking at houses, like I like looking at houses. It's fine. It's interesting sometimes, but the part of my job that gets me fired up is being able to negotiate. And it's either if I'm working with a buyer, securing them an awesome deal, like saving the money makes me so satisfied, or with a seller, being able to head off problems at the pass and get them the absolute most amount of money. When I can get somebody more money than they expected, granted, sometimes I try to set expectations realistic and sellers are not, but when I can get them more money than they expected, and head off issues, that's what gets me fired up. Not necessarily looking at houses. Anyway, I was on a listing appointment recently, and the question, I always say, do you have any questions? And they were like, yeah, what's your plan? How do you plan on marketing our house? And I think that is like the HGTV question to ask, and I think it's also the most irrelevant question. So nowadays, as real estate agents, anybody can hire a photographer to come out and shoot photos, shoot videos, drone your house, 360, floor plan. That's pretty standard. If you're not getting that as standard, you just might have an agent that's just not. The agents that are successful making money, whatever, they're paying money to do that stuff. But anybody can do that. MLS is syndicating to everywhere. So if your listing is on MLS, it's on Zillow, it's on Realtor, it's on whatever, Coldwell Banker, Better Homes and Gardens, Keller Williams, it's everywhere. So what are you doing to market my home? It's just kind of short-sighted. Print marketing is pretty much out. Things are selling before you would even have an opportunity to get them into the into a magazine. We were actually just talking downstairs, and it's like homes and land. We don't even look at that. Nobody looks at that. If you have a listing that's very high price, going to be on the market for a long time, maybe it's worth it so that people can see their house in a magazine. But it's just not what's selling houses right now. As long as you've got some good internet marketing, you're good. Like, it's going to sell. The important questions to ask a real estate agent should be all about keeping money in your pocket and getting it there as fast as possible, because carrying costs on houses right now are pretty high, right? Property taxes are high. Electric is high. We're heating houses right now. The carrying cost for a house is high. So to get a seller the most amount of money as quickly as possible, I would think should be a seller's focus when interviewing an agent. Here are questions to ask. How do you price property? So a lot of agents don't show their work for pricing. They come up with a price. Are you using recent appraisals? Have you seen recent appraisals? Are you adjusting? Are you just like looking at the market and being like, oh, I think your house is worth this? Like, how are you pricing property? Really important. What is your list to sale ratio? This ratio is the ratio of how much a house is listed for versus how much it sells for. Obviously, the higher the number is, it's a reflection of a few things. It's a reflection of how good an agent priced the property. It's a reflection of how good of a negotiator the agent is. So that's an important number that the only time I've ever been asked that is when people have printed off a list of questions that I've actually given them for interviews and been like, these are the questions you should ask an agent. So list to sales. What percentage of your business is listings? Buyer agents are really good. Buyer specialty agents are really good at working with buyers. Listing agents are really, really good at listing properties. And sometimes there's a crossover and sometimes there isn't. So better to know if your agent specializes in one or the other. How long have you been licensed? Very important, especially in this climate. We've got a lot of agents. We've got sellers with homes that have more equity than they've ever had before. So these are, and usually a person's largest investment. We have, I think, 4 times the number of real estate agents we had 10 years ago. So we've got a lot of brand new agents. We've got a lot of people that have a lot of equity. And it's important to know how much experience your agent has. Will you attend showings? This is one of those you don't know what you don't know question. And a lot of agents do not attend their showings, and that's okay. We have a lot of different ways to do business as agents, but as a seller, I know I just sold my house. What you're gonna want to know is as soon as that agent is turning the lock and leaving your house, you wanna know how that showing went. You wanna know what the feedback was. You wanna know if they, had a feeling about, a buyer, or what questions were asked or whatever. You wanna know that. So that's an important question. Is the agent gonna be there, or are they just gonna wait for feedback, hopefully, from a buyer's agent? Another question that, again, goes back to what gets me fired up is heading off problems at the pass is, what are the pain points that you can predict with this house in a transaction? And sometimes we can walk through a house and we can see that, ooh, this is going to be an issue, this is going to be an issue, this is going to, you can't use certain types of financing, whatever. That's a great question for a seller to ask right away. Deal with those pain points, predict what issues might come up ahead of time. Anyway, so if you're interviewing a real estate agent, those are the important questions to ask, not how are you going to market my house? You're going to have open houses. That's kind of just kindergarten level real estate, and you want to put as much money as you can in your pocket, and you want to hold on to as much of that equity as you can. You worked so hard for it, and you made some great real estate decisions, and maybe took some risks financially to do it. So capitalize on it and do it smartly. If you've got questions about the value of your house, if you are in Southern Maine, Southern New Hampshire, please feel free to reach out. I am here. I can price your house for you. It doesn't take a lot of your time, and it's a free service, and there's no obligation. Have a great day, guys.